welcome back to my channel, and today I have a little graphic liner. I know it's like a weird angle, but I wanted to get a shot of my graphic novel shelf, a work in progress obviously. But today I did all of these things because I wanted to talk about all of the graphic novels that are on My TBR on Goodreads. I feel like I need to explain myself first, but I don't know a lot about the graphic novels before I add them to my TBR. I just see a pretty cover or I see a premise that sounds interesting and I just kind of add it. I think graphic novels are so easy to read and they're so quick to read that I don't feel like I have to know every single detail about the plot before I add it to my TBR, before I'm interested in it. It also is a lot shorter than normal novels, so it's not like they can give much of the plot away anyway in the descriptions of books and the marketing of these books, because it's just not the same format as a normal novel. If a graphic novel doesn't work out, it doesn't work out and there was no harm, because it's not like I put hours and hours and hours or days or weeks into reading something that just takes so long. A graphic novel goes by so quickly that I don't feel like I wasted my time when a graphic novel doesn't work out. To me, it's a win-win. I don't mind continuously trying different graphic novels, from middle grade to young adult to adult. I want to give all of them a try because who knows, one of them might surprise me. So while I'm going to explain all of the graphic novels that are on my TBR, I don't really know a lot about them. So don't expect these to be perfect summaries or pitches for these books, because I have no idea. I just thought it would be kind of fun, seeing as I am a huge fan of graphic novels in that format and the genre, that I kind of let you guys know what kind of graphic novels I'm interested in reading. Or you guys could let me know in the comments what graphic novels you guys like as well that I don't already have on my TBR. So let's get on into it. The first two graphic novels that I actually have are Cami Garcia's two graphic novels, which are actually the Teen Titans Beast Boy and Raven comics. And both of these are illustrated by Gabriel Piccolo. So I'm assuming that a lot of you already know about the Teen Titans IP and franchise, but they were, I think DC maybe comics, and then they were turned into a TV show, and then they had the TV show reboot, and now they have graphic novels and comics based off of that show. While I don't think they have the best reviews, because this franchise and the Teen Titans are so nostalgic for me and I loved the show so much growing up, I feel like it's my civic duty to read them. So I will. The next two graphic novels are actually a little bit similar to each other. I have They Called Us Enemy by George Takei and American Born Chinese by Jean Luen Yang. They Called Us Enemy is George Takei's experience in Japanese concentration camps in World War II. And then American Born Chinese is I think Jean Luen Yang's experience, obviously navigating the Chinese American culture and upbringing. And I think it also plays with time. I think it's not a linear timeline. I think it kind of it's a little bit playful in how the story is told, I think. But both of these have won a ton of awards. Both of these are talked about so highly. So I think they're just really necessary for me to read. And also it's great to read something so digestible in this kind of format, while also learning about the experiences of other people that aren't Latino, Latina, Latine. I don't know much about the Chinese American experience. I don't know much about Japanese internment camps from World War II. So I think both of these could be really cool, insightful reads. And next up, we actually have the first edition of the Paper Girls comics and series by Brian Vaughan. These ones I literally don't know anything about, but I think it just follows 80s newspaper delivery girls, and they seem really badass. When you're looking at the cover, it looks so cool and so badass. All of the editions all of the iterations of the comics look so interesting, and I love how colorful they are. So just based off of the colors alone, I'm very interested. They get so mediocre reviews, but it seems like the reviews increase and get better with every edition of the comics, so seems interesting. And next up, if you actually saw my birthday book haul, you would have already seen this one, but it is Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me. Like I explained in that birthday haul, this book follows a girl named Freddie as she's kind of navigating this toxic relationship that she has with her girlfriend named Laura Dean. Laura Dean keeps breaking up with Freddie, getting back together with her, and eventually Freddie starts isolating herself from her friends and family. So it's just about, I think, Freddie discovering her self-worth, learning about this toxic relationship that she's in, and I just think it would be a really important read. So this one I think also gets a lot of awards. I see a lot of people talk really highly about this graphic novel, so it's one that I'm definitely anticipating. Ooh, next we have My Brother's Husband by Gengaro Tagami. And this one, because I don't really know the names, it's a little convoluted to explain, but it's about this like middle-aged Japanese man and his daughter. I don't know what happened to his wife, but he is a single father, and he has a like distant twin brother. I think it's his twin brother, and they've kind of like lost contact with each other over the years. And then his brother passes away, and one day this white man shows up at his door, and it is the fiance of his late brother. And it's kind of them reconnecting, I think them bonding over the brother, and the main character learning about the brother that he kind of exiled, he and his family kind of exiled and ostracized because he is gay. And it talks a lot about gay culture in Japan, probably juxtaposed to gay culture in like Canada or America, wherever the brother ended up going and getting married. So I hear so many people talking so highly about this graphic novel. I've heard nothing but good things. It seems like it's a tearjerker, so I'm excited and I'm ready. So next we actually have A Girl Called Echo, which is volume 1 of, I think the overall series is called The Pemmican Wars. A Girl Named Echo I think is pretty short. It doesn't even have that like big of a description on Goodreads, but it is about a girl named Echo, and I think it plays with time because she's indigenous, and I think she's either on a reservation or she's out of the reservation, and it plays with time in the sense that she's now having like dreams or flashbacks or finds herself transported to the Pemmican Wars, I think. I think that's so interesting. I think it's so cool. I love that there's like multiple volumes. I think there's at least 3, maybe 4 volumes of this. So I'm just really curious. I don't see a lot of graphic novels in general, but especially indigenous graphic novels. So it's something that I'm definitely curious about and I'm interested in giving a shot. Next, another book that I mentioned in my birthday haul is Bloom by Kevin Panetta and Savannah Ganuccio. And this, don't really know much about it either, but I think it's just about 2 boys falling in love, coming of age, coming out, and all that goodness. Ooh, so this one is really interesting. This one is called Surviving the City, and it's by Tasha Spillett and Natasha Donovan. For the longest time, like whenever I thought about it and I was like, oh yeah, Surviving the City, like that's a graphic novel I should like read now that I'm free and I want something to read. I thought it was like an indigenous apocalyptic book when it's not. It's like a coming of age, like family drama, it seems like, where one of the girls runs away and it's the other main character like trying to find her and hunt her down before something bad happens to her, I think. I don't know why I was convinced that this was like a dystopian apocalyptic book. I could not tell you where I found this, who recommended it, what weird article I saw this from, but it's on there now and I will read it. Next up is Rise of the Halfling King, and this is by David Bowles. And I think this is actually like a middle grade graphic novel. You could probably tell by the cover, but David Bowles, I think, is Mexican, and this is actually like a Mayan story inspired by like the ancient Mayan city of Uxmal. This is the last graphic novel that I mentioned in my book haul, and it is Are You Listening by Tilly Walden. This one is about two girls, I think Bia and Lou, and they kind of meet up on the road together as I think they're both running from like their past and their trauma. Weird things start happening on the road while they're driving, and they're actually going to a city that doesn't exist. And I'm pretty sure it's just an exploration of friendship and trauma, and either one or both of these girls has a history with sexual assault. So this one is definitely bound to make me cry. It is that hard-hitting contemporary with a bit of like fantasy magic elements that I think is going to be really fun. It seems like it might be metaphorical in some way, so this is one I definitely have to get to soon. And actually, in that book haul, I mentioned that I needed to look up 1 Second Publishing, which is the publishing house that published all 3 of Bloom, Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me, and Are You Listening? Because it seems like they publish very interesting graphic novels, or graphic novels that at least appeal to me. I gave a look through their website. I actually found a few of the graphic novels that they published in 2020, and I immediately added them to my TBR. So this is the first one, and it's called Displacement by Kiku Hughes, and it also plays with time. It is also about Japanese internment camps in World War II, and it is about a young girl, or maybe like a teen girl, who gets transported back in time to when her grandmother was in a Japanese internment camp. That one sentence is all I needed to know for me to be interested, and hopefully I can get my hands on it soon because I think it'll be such a cool read. And next is another one. It's A Map to the Sun by Sloan Long, and it is about 5 girls on a basketball team, I think in university, and all 5 of these girls have like different backstories, different lives, and they have to like overcome those differences and help each other through their issues in order to work together on this basketball team. It seems like it's going to be a little bit more like hard-hitting than the description suggests on Goodreads, so I'm very, very interested in it. Next is actually, I think this is the last one that I saw from 1 Second Publishing, and it is The Daughters of Ease by M.T. Anderson and Joe Ryu. And this one seems like it's very high fantasy because I think it has to deal with like mermaids or sirens, and it's something about like political intrigue or something. I don't know. The cover was beautiful. It said something about sirens or mermaids. I think I'm probably going to be confused. This is the only adult graphic novel on my list or on my TBR, so I'm intrigued either way. I think this could be really pretty, and I'm just enamored by the cover. Like, look at it. Ooh, next is Flamer by Mike Corrado, and these next few are ones that I just kind of added to my TBR because I was just looking for different graphic novels to add to like reference to later. But this one is about a boy dealing with like his internalized homophobia and coming out as gay while he's at summer camp. Another one in a similar vein is called The Magic Fish by Trung Le Nguyen, and this one is about, I think his name is Tien. Again, it's Vietnamese, so I'm not sure of the correct pronunciation. If you happen to know, please let me know in the comments. But a boy named Tien who's trying to find the words to tell his family that he's gay. And because his family is immigrated from Vietnam, he doesn't necessarily know the way to tell his family, or if he could tell his family at all. And it does this really cool thing where it seems like he finds a book of fairy tales and he somehow gets transported into these fairy tales, or maybe these fairy tales come to life. And through these fairy tales, he navigates Vietnamese culture and the way that stories are so important and valuable. It's everything I want. It's everything I want. It gives me very big The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan vibes. It's giving me fantasy. It's giving me transportation. It's giving me coming of age. It's giving me family struggles. What more do I need to say? What more do I need to say? Next is Almost American Girl by Robin Ha. This one, similar to American Born Chinese, is about Robin Ha's experience. I think it's more of a self-memoir, and it is about her navigating American culture when her and her mom move or come to visit family from Korea, but then the mom falls in love and gets married, and the main character, barely able to speak English, is now stuck in this family at American school where she can't communicate with anyone and she doesn't understand the language. Being an immigrant myself, I think that this kind of story from someone who immigrated from a different country, but at such an older age than I was when I came to the US, I think it could be really interesting, and I think I could bond with it in a really special way. And the last graphic novel that I have on my TBR, Sandra from the future here, and I completely lied. There are 3 other books that I really want to read, and that is Orange by Ichigo Takano, which is a manga series about a group of high school kids that are getting letters from their future selves about how to prevent a fellow classmate from committing suicide in the future. There is the entire Avatar: The Last Airbender graphic novels or comics, and Heartstopper Volume 4 is also coming out at some point in 2021, I think in the spring, and all 3 of those I forgot to include on this list and are some of my most anticipated comics and graphic novels of the year. So I don't know what happened, but I lied. Those I needed to include before the last one, so now we can get back into the video. Is Dancing at the Pity Party by Tyler Fetter. And this one, don't know much about either, but I think it is about the main character who just recently lost her mother to cancer, and it's kind of her navigating her life without her mom now. And I think it's dealing with the memories of her mom, and I think that this could just be a very important, just very sad read, and maybe even comforting in some way, because while it's good for some books to make you cry, it's also for those books to bring comfort in that sadness. Ending on a very low note, I think, but I'm so excited for all these graphic novels. I can't wait to just start adding more to my TBR. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know in the comments, like I said earlier, if you've read any of these graphic novels, what you think about graphic novels in general, and if there are any graphic novels you would recommend to me that I haven't included in this list already. For the positive pick in today's video, I'm gonna go with this artwork that my little sister drew me for Christmas this year, and it's actually me, and I personally requested from the artist to paint me as a Pokemon trainer with my 2 favorite Pokemon. Feel free to subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!